Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Marlena Frank and I'm a YA fantasy and horror author. And this video today comes from one of my fans who's been with me on my website and now on my YouTube channel for a while, Priscilla Bettis. And I am really happy that she brought this up because I was struggling to figure out what video I would have this weekend because I just got back from BookCon and I haven't had the time or energy to go through all the footage and everything that we have. And then I saw Priscilla's comment and I was like, you know what, this would be perfect to cover. So what I'm going to cover today is the pros and cons that I found with writing longhand compared to writing on a computer. This is something that I used to do all the time as a kid, you know, but now I am attached to my laptop or my desktop, and that's usually where I do most of my writing at. So for this book, however, the sequel to the She-Wolf of Canta, I thought it would be great to do it by longhand and see how it went. I've outlined everything on note cards and maybe I'll show that process in another video. But today I kind of wanted to talk about, you know, the pros and cons of things. And you'll see that I haven't gotten that much writing in here for the sequel. Now you'll probably have a lot of this blurred out and I'm sorry about that, but it's in progress. It doesn't look like a lot, but actually these pages are pretty huge, so longhand writing is pretty intense. So first of all, let's talk about the pros. First of all, I have been more thoughtful about my word choice as I've been going through. More thoughtful about what words I'm going to use because you have to write it out and it gives your brain a bit more time to think about what you're going to say. Another benefit is the disconnection from the screen. I work at a day job and I sit at a desk all day on a computer, so it's nice to be working on a book without also having another computer to have to look at in the evening. Another benefit is that I'm not tethered to the word count. That seems like a silly thing because that's usually the metrics most writers use these days. To see how their progress is going. But it also can be really stressful because then you're like, oh, I just have to reach that 10K word count goal, or oh, I have to reach my halfway mark word count. You don't have to worry about that as much now. Now it's more estimating word counts. So my word count here is about 300 words a page. So every 3 pages is about 1,000 words. So I think I've gotten like 3,000 words written in here. Just to give you an idea, like a whole 100,000 word book could fit in this journal. And this journal, by the way, is a creative writing journal from Parliament House Press, which is my indie publisher for Stolen, and it's one that I really enjoy using. I've got another one upstairs as well, and I wanted an excuse to fill it up, so So also a little thing that might just be me is writing by hand is a lot of fun. I really enjoy writing by hand. Something about the act about it is just very calming and soothing, especially when you've been typing all day on a computer. So that's something that I really enjoy. And finally, one of the things that I think a lot of authors forget about is that you get a raw copy of the manuscript when you're done. So what that means is basically, you have a draft that is unchanged, a first draft that is not been tampered with, not been messed with. Someone could go back and look at it and see an example of your raw piece of work. And that's very rare to find these days just because everyone writes on computers nowadays. So that's a downfall of it. It's really inspiring to read from even great writers like Charles Dickens and see what their original draft looked like and all the errors that it had that they went back and fixed and restructured and changed around. But writing hard copy, of course, gives you that benefit. So, we've talked about the pros. Let's talk about the cons of writing by hand. One of the cons I've found is that it's more difficult to shuffle scenes around. I do that. Well, I didn't realize how much I tend to do that until I started writing by hand again. And I was like, wow, I do that quite a bit in my writing. And I was like, oh man, that's frustrating. But again, it gives me the chance to think about it and consider it when I go back and do an edit once I've transcribed this all back into digital format. This is also a very large journal. You can tell by my hand size along the edges here. And it's kind of hard to carry around at times. So whenever I flew to BookCon recently, this was a journal I had to decide not to bring with me, even though during downtimes I wished I'd had it to work on. I didn't bring my laptop either. I was trying to pack light so that I'd have enough room for books on the way back. Cries. But you know, having a large journal like this, while it's really nice to be able to have my whole manuscript be able to fit in here, that's a downfall, is that it's not quite as carryable as other journals might be. Again, you can get a small journal, and that would probably be a lot easier for that, if you're willing to, you know, piece them all together in the end whenever you're transcribing into digital format. The next one is something that I'm sad about, are hand cramps. My hand cramps up quite a bit after, I don't know, 2 pages of writing in this journal, and I'm sad about that because I used to take notes like crazy in college, and my hand I was pretty proud of how many notes I could take in a single day in class, you know, filling up pages of notes, and yeah, my hand would cramp, but it'd be okay. I feel like I need to train it up some. Again, the more you do it, the less that's going to be an issue. You train your muscles in your hand up more to be willing to write longhand again. As you can also tell, you have slow progress. Again, that might just be because I've had struggles with all the events going on that I haven't made as much progress as I like in my work in progress here, doing it longhand. But again, your mileage may vary with that. So another thing that I do is I manually keep track of the page numbers. So since you're manually having to keep track of that, there is room for error. And I've seen people where they've run across that before, where they're page numbering manually and they skip a number, or they do a number twice or something like that. So that's always your downfall. Yes, you do have a way of keeping track with pages, and honestly, I feel like that's way less weight on me to do it by page instead of by word count. But again, every writer is different, so what works for me may not work for you. And finally, tracking progress. So other than page counts and estimating word count, you really don't know the amount of writing that you've done. Other than the glorious feeling of filling up these enormous pages in your creative writing journal. So that's another con as well. Personally, I think this has been a great experience. I know I've just gotten started with doing longhand writing so far with this. You know, only about, I think 3,000 words in or so when I last guesstimated. But for me, it's been a really great experience. It's been a great reminder of how much I enjoy writing this way, and the more it makes me think about where I'm going next. I think that the novel itself is benefited through that. I think it's a good thing to go back and do occasionally for writers. Writing longhand is a different format. It makes you think differently about your piece and about your work. I think it's worthwhile doing on occasion. That said, I know that's difficult if you've got a really rushed deadline, or if you have a really, very quick publication schedule coming up. My next work in progress is probably going to be book 3 of the Stolen series, and that one's going to have to be digital because all of my notes are in my Scrivener files for that. With She-Wolf, I was able to pull those out into note cards easier, but with the Stolen series, there's just too many notes. I won't be able to fit them all onto, note cards like that. So, pros and cons, weigh them out easily. I think for a brand new, fresh book, as your work in progress, especially with Camp Nano coming up in July, I think longhand may be the way to go. And I know a lot of nanoers who do that. That's just, again, your personal preference. Give it a shot. Let me know how it goes for you. What has your longhand writing experience been like? Do you prefer that over writing on a computer or the other way around? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you have any video ideas like Priscilla was kind enough to give to me on a previous video, please leave your comments below. I'm always looking for new things to cover with these videos and to talk about new things that, I don't even think about doing videos for some things like longhand writing until she mentioned it, and then I was like, oh, that's a great idea. So please leave your comments below and let me know what you think. And do hit that like button and that subscribe button. I post new videos every Friday. Again, if BookCon is kind. Luckily, this is getting up Friday night, I hope. But yes, hit that like and subscribe button. I post new videos every Friday. Thank you for being here, and thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.